Alright, so welcome back to another no bullshit review, and on this one we need to talk about the Filter M12 of Arturia. So this one is a very good one, just like the other ones. I really like the the three filters that you will never use, and this one is the more digital of them all. The other ones are very analog vibe, they have that analog vibe. This one is again a bit more digital, and the cutoffs and the actual filters are not that interesting. But the good part of this plugin, it's all the envelopes you get right here. But we're gonna get there in a minute. First, what I would like to do is just to give you a tour of how everything works, so you can know what everything that this thing can do. And then at the very end, if you just if you care, I'm gonna give you my opinion. So this is pretty simple. Of course, you get two filters, the filter A and the filter B. I'm gonna go and play a sound right here. It's a pretty dull sound. It's just a synth with sustained notes. Just the chords, some chords, sustained chords, and then it starts over. Okay. So right from the start, with each filter, and they are exactly the same filters, you get different modes, which is something that you don't get with the other filters from Arturia. You just get, maybe a low pass, and then a high pass, and then that's it. With this one, you get a little bit more control. Of course, we are not going to go through all the filters. They're, pretty self-explanatory at this point. But, you have four different types of low pass, then 3 of high pass. You can even do a notch. So in comparison of the other ones, the other filters, this one is a much more versatile. The only thing that this is not is, analog-y. It has more a digital vibe. So okay, I'm going to go to maybe the low pass number 3, maybe do the 4, just a little bit more aggressive. And I'm going to go and do a play. I'm going to go and start cutting off. So right from the start, we just get it, right? All right. So then, of course, you get the resonance. All right, just a nice peak. All right. Alright, so pretty standard controls from any other filter. Now what is cool in this one is that you get the pan control. And this one, what it will do, it will let the original signal go through, and whatever it is that you're filtering or you're doing on the filter, it will go on the pan direction. So if I'm cutting right here and doing a little bit of resonance, we can hear that sound. And if I go all the way to the right, notice that the filter sound is on the right side of the stereo field. Of course, you need some good speakers and some good headphones. And if I go all the other way, the filter sound, it's now in the left. Right. So of course, if the volume is not enough for you, you can go and boost the signal. Right? So far, pretty simple stuff. Now notice right here, you get some controls of how you want the routing to go on. So if you're just using the filter A, maybe you just want to select the filter A and that's it. Now on the other side, on the filter B, you get the same exact controls. It's completely the same. It's the same filter, nothing different. All right. Now the cool thing of the filter A and the filter B is that you can combine them, and you can even swap from the A and then to the B, and then from the B to the A if you wanted to, with a little bit of modulation. So for example, if I'm doing this on the A and then I go to the B and I do a notch, let's say, and go there and do something like this, on an instance, you can go and change it to the B. And that's why at the same time you get the outs, because maybe if you're switching, maybe the other one has more, maybe high frequencies, so the volume will change. So that's why you get the out, so you can control what comes out. And now this is not the most important thing, is that you can go right here. This is the important part, that you can use the routing. So this means that whatever you're doing on the filter A will be fed to the filter B. So if I'm cutting off, or maybe just cutting frequencies, let me just do something like the notch right here. I'm gonna go and just go to the A. And I'm doing this, okay? But maybe I want to do a little bit of cutting the low frequencies of this one. So with this one, since you're going from A and feeding to the B, I can go right here, maybe say high pass, and just cut off the low frequencies, if any. Or just do the opposite, maybe just, chop some of the highs. And then you get a combination of, just two filters. And they are just very different. And in addition, you can do the opposite. You can go and run them in parallel instead of series. So of course, this will result on a different sound, of course. And then again, that's why you get the out. Now, at the end of the day, they will be blended. So you will get kind of a blend sound. Let me just do maybe something else like I don't know, bandpass. So this is the A. All right, and this is the B. So then we combine them and we get something out of this. All right, so I believe you get the point. Of course, on top of all of this, you get the dry and the wet control. So you can, of course, decide how much this effect applies to the original signal. That is, dry and then wet. And in addition, you get, of course, a control to control the volume that comes out. Alright, so pretty explanatory control. And then you get the master cutoff. So if you know silent 1, for example, you get a master cutoff. And this one, what it will control both cutoffs at the same time. If you go up, it means that both at the same time will go up. Right? That's why it's the master. And notice the values is in percentages. Because you're doing, for example, 50%, it's 50% from here to here and then here to here. So if I go there and just, start moving the cutoff, notice it will move both. It doesn't matter if you're on A, B, it just doesn't matter. Right, so far you can get really crazy sounds out of this. Right, it's just very easy to use, very transparent. You can go real crazy. I'm gonna go and just stay on the cutoff number, on the filter number A, because let me do something a bit more normal. Let's say, all right, something like that. Okay. So the most important part of this plugin, it's not the filters, it's the envelopes. This is the real, great part of this plugin, not just the filters. Now, what they give you instead of just an LFO or an envelope follower, just like the other filter plugins, what they give you is an envelope with 16 points. So instead of using an LFO, maybe with a square or a saw or maybe a triangle, you can draw right here whatever you want, and you have until 16 points. And on top of that, you can draw 3 different things with 3 different envelopes, and then just use them right here at the bottom to control whatever you want. For example, if I go right here and I draw something like this, and we can add points by clicking, and we can remove them by double clicking. I'm going to say that we're going to start right here. We're going to go up, and then I'm going to go down on the beat 1, and then I'm going to go up again, down again, and then go up again, and then down again. And that's going to be the end. Now, remember that this is 16 points. You can add up to 16 points. But the last point will decide when the loop starts over. Notice that when it reaches here, then it starts over. So maybe I can go right here and just move this one, maybe remove this one. And now this is going to be my last point, right? So we are on 3 bars, not 4 bars. Now, of course, you get the rate multiplier. If you go up, this one is going to go faster. If you go, slow, it's going to go slower. And you can go and, make subdivisions, which is really great. Okay. So of course, if I play this, nothing really is going to happen. So this is providing the instruction, but right now we are not telling the plugin what we want to modulate, what we want to move following this instruction. And this is what the modulation matrix is. So it looks very challenging. The plugin looks challenging, but it's really simple. So we are saying, dude, I want you to move like this. So I'm going to go and say that the envelope 1 is going to modulate what? And this is the part where you can select what to modulate. And on the other plugins, on the other filters, the options are fixed. We cannot change them. On this one, we can click and select whatever we want to move. If it's the cutoff of the A or the cutoff of the B, or maybe the resonance, and all the ones are grayed out. It's because they're already on the list right here. And you can even select none. Maybe we can do and say everything is going to be none, and then we can go and select whatever is that we want to move. So notice if I go right here, all the options are available, right? So I'm going to go and say that the envelope 1 is going to move the cutoff point, the cutoff control by using this motion. So if I click right here, it's going to start at 0. So if I go all the way to the 1, and notice that you get some in-betweens, it's going to do that. It's going to follow that instruction. And we can hear how it works. Super simple. If I want to go faster, I go faster. Okay, so of course 1 is going to be the maximum point or the maximum motion. If you go down, the effect is less obvious. So this one is not, not moving it by that much. Notice that. There we go. Let me just put it right here. Now, right now, of course, we are starting from middle, going up, then down, and we stop right at the middle. So this means that this is the starting point. This line is the starting point of the movement. So if you're standing right here on the cutoff, for example, 50%, let's say, it's going to go only up and then back to 50%. But these ones are negative and positives. So if I go all the way down into -1, instead of going up, it's going to go down, right? Because it's going the opposite direction. So if I do it, this is just a little bit different, much different. Let me just put it right here. And if I put it right here, we don't hear anything because we are doing a lot of cutoff and we don't have frequencies right there. That's why we don't hear anything. But right now it's just moving, but it's moving something like this. Starting from here, going down and then up. Now, of course, if you don't like to do this, you can keep it like this. Maybe go here. But maybe what you want to do is to go down on the first time that it moves and then goes up. So luckily, these points are bipolar. So we can go down. So first it goes down and then up and up. So it's like down and then up, back and then up and then starts again. So of course we can do this with whatever we want and we can select some in-betweens, not just go that aggressive. And of course we can use the same envelope to modulate other things. Let's say I want to do something to the resonance. Why? So I'm going to use the same to do the resonance. Oh, and of course I need to select it. There we go. This is really great. We can go and do some other things like modifying the out, or maybe the pan, or maybe even the mode, and this is great. It's gonna go and just start moving through all the different modes. Of course, it's crazy. If you go slow, it's gonna be... It's just really great. Alright, so of course, now, whenever you have time, you just need to go through here and do some experimentation. Let's just keep moving forward. So I'm going to go and say none, and I'm going to go see something that makes more sense. Maybe a 2. Okay, so another thing that you can do with this one is that you can, of course, draw whatever you want, but you can start off with a preset. So they give you just 6 or 7 presets, and they, of course, have different shapes. So maybe you can select them and just start there. Gonna go to groove, and maybe a square, maybe sawdown would be nice. Now, of course, at this speed, this sounds like crap, but if I go faster, makes a little bit more sense. Now, another thing that you can do if you want to draw things, let's go to blank again. Is that whenever you drag right here, notice I put the mouse right here and I get the hand kind of an icon. I can drag and we are going to see right here, the lines. And this is because we can snap the grid. That's why we get the grid. Right, and of course always just There we go. So remember, you can just drag and see the grid. All right, maybe it's too fast. All right, and on top of that, of course, what you can do, you can create your own and then save it as your own and reuse it much later. It's just great. And now again, on top of that, you can use other envelopes. Notice that you get the envelope 1 and envelope 2. So maybe what I want to do, I want to move the resonance with a different motion. Maybe I want to go right here and use a saw down and go faster, maybe on this one. And this one will move the resonance. So now the resonance will follow a different motion and the cutoff will follow the motion of the envelope 1. Right? Just really great. Right, so we can hear that. And I'm gonna go to the envelope number, I don't know, 3 and do something else. Maybe I can do a turn on off kind of a thing. And maybe I want to do, I don't know, the dry and the wet, why not? All right, so notice that there's a difference, and I'm gonna go and just remove this one. Notice how the envelope 3 works. Notice it's a little bit different than the other ones. The other ones just go and start, and the loop will start at some point and then end and go back. But not this one, you know, this one is just moving in a weird way. Now this is because it has something called audio threshold trigger. And this one, what it means is that whenever it, it listens for an audio input, it will trigger the envelope. And that's the start of this. So notice it's triggering on every note. But the thing is that this one will not listen MIDI. It will listen the audio. And you will need to select right here the audio, the incoming signal, how loud it's going to be, so it can trigger whatever it is that it's using. Now, in my opinion, this is the kind of one of the worst parts of this plugin, because it just doesn't work very well. It's just hard to get, just select the values right here so it can trigger the proper way. So it's useful, but sometimes it just doesn't work the way you want to. So on top of the envelopes, you have other ways of modulating, which is going to be the oscillator. And this is the common thing we get with the other filters. Instead of using the envelopes, we are going to use a waveform. And you get not a lot of waveforms. You get a triangle, a sine wave, the most common ones. And of course, if I go and maybe go to right here to the cutoff, notice that it says mod OSC. So this is the one. So I'm going to go and move the filter cutoff based on the triangle wave. So I'm going to go and play the clip. Now, notice that it sounds crazy. And it's because of the rate. This is super fast. If I go slower, we get it. So again, this is just one more thing that they give us with this plugin. Now the best part of this plugin is the envelope, because the oscillator, even though it's it's cool, we don't get a lot of waveforms, we don't have a lot of control, we cannot sync to the DAW, even though right here it says sync. This one is for the random that we're going to talk in a second. But you only get it for the sync and the envelopes, but you don't get a sync for the oscillator. I just don't understand why we don't get a sync for the oscillator. It's just weird. Or maybe they just were lazy and didn't add it, or maybe they forgot to do it. But since you're getting a sync for pretty much everything, why not getting a sync for the oscillator? Sometimes we just need to sync to the project, because going manually sometimes it takes time, to sync everything. But well, just like I told before, the most important part of this plugin is are the envelopes. This is the real powerhouse of the plugin, not this one. This one is just something additional that they give us, just like the random. In this case, I can go and instead of following this motion, it's going to follow a random, and on this one we can sync if we wanted to. If I unsync, I'm going to go faster, and it's just random. So that's it. That's the whole plugin. Of course, you can, select all the, the library and save your patches and all, all the good stuff we get from Arturia, from all the plugins. But this is it. You get two filters. You can do a blend. You can do a routing, and the envelopes are the best part of this plugin. With the other filters, and let me just take you to our Arturia page. With the other plugins, what you get is kind of a more traditional way of filtering. And on this one, you get a more, kind of a manual. You can design kind of the own motion that you wish with the envelope, which is just a bit modern. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool. Really like this one. In my opinion, the other ones, they are better in my opinion, because I like them in terms of what I like. As a filter, I like the more traditional filters. But if I want to do something very specific, I cannot do it with the other ones. That's why this filter is very special, because you can design whatever motion you wish with the envelopes. With the other ones, you just cannot. You can use whatever they give you. You cannot design whatever you want. And this is, the powerhouse of this plugin, the envelopes, not the filters. So if I go, it says, of course, 99 bucks, $100. I don't know. Again, the best option sometimes of getting these plugins is by buying the bundle or getting it from rent to own from Splice. But 100 is just a little bit too much in my opinion. So I will put that on the con. Now on the pro section, and of course all of this is just my opinion, right? It's a super creative plugin. It's very musical. You get 16 points on envelopes, and you get 3 different envelopes. So you can go crazy and just, create very weird sounds out of a dumb chord progression, just like the one I had before. So it's just really great. And the con again is just 99 bucks. And the other thing I can think of is that the documentation really sucks. They give you very little information. Some information about the history of whatever it is that they are doing and how they model the plugin, but they don't give you information about the controls. It's, very global information, not very technical, which sometimes if you like to read that, it sucks. And the other thing is the LFO. Why not, an LFO sync, an oscillator sync? Why? But again, this is my opinion. And I hope you like the review, and see you on the next one.